For blog number 10, I had to watch my teacher teach, and I was observing his lesson and see how he managed his classroom, see how he got his students involved, and I really took a in-depth look at his teaching methods. Basically, the lesson I looked at was dealing with map skills, Canadian maps. So they would look at the regions, different provinces, different physical features, and I looked on how he got the students excited and engaged. The main objective or objectives of this lesson is to have your students understand how to label a Canadian map. Where is the region of Quebec or the province of Quebec, Ontario? Where's the city of Toronto at? Where's the city of Vancouver? Where's the Canadian Shield? Where's the Canadian Rocky Mountains? Basically, just label a map and find knowledge that way. What my teacher did was he used the atlas, so it is like a textbook. That wasn't the base of the lesson, but that was a pretty useful tool because that's where the kids found the majority of their information. It's pretty crazy. I think I told some of my classmates this, but it's crazy how hard labeling a map is for ninth grade students. I didn't realize how hard it was. Just simply looking at an atlas and translating that information into a blank map proves to be really, really difficult for this age group. So what my teacher does is just over time just keep rehearsing that skill over and over again. And the kids aren't usually interested in making a map or labeling a map, but the more you rehearse it, the more that they get more comfortable doing a map, the easier it will be for them. My teacher, he is not a big fan of map making or map labeling, but as he told me, it's pretty important. It's an important skill for geography, national standard wise, state standard wise. You got to label a map, and you also have to be able to read a map. So if you can label a map, therefore you can read a map. So it helps it twofold. The students, don't like making maps, so they did not react in a positive way in this lesson. Basically, the way that we dealt with this lesson is we did PowerPoint notes, which gave kind of like a good spin on where the features are, where the regions are, where the main cities are. So the kids are kind of interested in, if kids have been to Canada before, they wanted to talk about it. That really makes the kid a little more interested. We showed a couple of videos. One video was about that guy on the Food Network. I forget his name. He's always serious. But he went to Quebec, or one of the northern provinces or territories, and he ate raw seal. Because that's what people do up there to survive. So the kids got really interested by watching that video. Another video we showed was about the city of Vancouver and the cool things you can do there. Those videos were just to entice the students, make them interested in the subject, and a good prior knowledge skill and activity. And then we did the PowerPoint notes while watching the video, or after, before, depending on the class, depending on what the deal is with the class. Some do better before, some do after watching the video and taking notes. And then we did the map. So it's all those information, but the final assessment or the final skill is doing the map. And I would describe the learning experience as successful, because the kids did finish the map as much as they didn't want to, and the kids did do it successfully, and it was a good lesson. I gotta say it's my teacher who was successful for it, because he does a great job relating with the kids, stressing the importance of it. So he's been a great teacher all semester long to learn from, and this was another good way to learn from him as well too, on how to take something that kids do not want to do and to initiate it in the classroom and to show that it was successful because the kids did complete it. And that's the main evidence that it was successful, is because they completed the map and they learned something. So it's concrete evidence. How would I adapt this in the future? I like to use online games. I showed Dr. Hicks a game with the 50 states. You can find games dealing with Canada. That's a good way to set up prior knowledge, or set up, I guess, a good benchmark of what you got to work with if you have one of these games in the beginning. So see what knowledge they know, which is probably going to be nothing, to be honest with you. And then you do it at the end, and you see what knowledge they gained, and also the students can understand what knowledge they gained. That's what I would add. But besides that, map making or map labeling is not that interesting, but you have to do it for geography. Basically, when I did my observation form, I didn't have a chance to talk with my teacher, but it was a great way to look and great way to see how students get engaged. I actually had an interview question. I told Dr. Hicks this. On the lady asked me, what are 3 ways that your students are learning or taking in new information? And I said obviously they have to be engaged, concrete evidence, and then for the third one, I said to connect it to future lessons or past lessons. And this is a perfect example. You can tell when people are engaged during the PowerPoint. You can tell the concrete evidence by looking at this map that they just labeled, if they correctly labeled it or not. And lastly, with labeling, not labeling, my fault. What I meant to say is connecting. If you look at the video that we would show, and then you looked at the PowerPoints, you connect those two together, and then you connect the map together. That's the whole lesson. So it was perfect. And looking at the observation form, looking on how the students reacted, how the teacher walked around, how the teacher emphasized certain things. It was perfect. And again, I really can't emphasize even more how great my teacher is, because he just relates with the kids so well. And most of the times his subjects are great. But it was awesome to see something that the kids weren't interested about and see how he implemented it. And he did a great job. Basically, I think this was a great blog to talk about, because you got to see how teachers and students interact with each other during a lesson. And as I stated before, I was real lucky to see a lesson that the kids didn't really like. So I said, basically, to sum this up, it was a great lesson. You could see the students reacted positively and negatively. You can see how the teacher reacted to the student's reaction, and how he adapted it if it was a negative reaction, if he didn't adapt to it if it was a negative reaction, and his reasons behind it. And overall, the learning experience was successful because of my teacher implementing, and I guess giving in maybe small times if there was a negative reaction, but overall the teacher knows what the students have to do for SOLs, and that's why it was successful. And also the evidence was there that the kids learned something. There was concrete evidence, the students were engaged and they connected. So this is my blog number 10, and thank you.